Question number 3, Chris Bishop.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Sorry, I was just enraptured by the climate change question.
Order. We'll just have the question.
So, Mr Speaker, to the Minister of Finance, how are the mixed ownership companies performing under their new ownership structures?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The mixed ownership companies are performing very well. The aggregate dividends from the electricity companies to the Crown have increased 39% since listing, not dropped 49% as you might expect due to the Crown listing 49% of the shares. For example, the Crown is now receiving more than twice as much in dividends from Genesis Energy than it did pre-listing, even though we only own 51% of the company. While it is impossible to work out exactly how much the mixed ownership structure has impacted on these dividends, it is clear that the greater commercial discipline as a result of being listed companies is working to the benefit of taxpayers as well as to mum and dad investors.
Supplementary. Supplementary, Mr Speaker.
Order. Supplementary question, Chris Bishop.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How has the value of these mixed ownership companies changed during this time?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, the value of the mixed ownership electricity companies has increased by around 4% since June 2012. In addition, Air New Zealand's market capitalisation has increased significantly over time to over $2.5 billion today. During this period, that company too has paid growing dividends on the back of improving performance. So the value of these mixed ownership companies has increased, the amount of dividends paid has increased, and that has given the government additional choices to address specific priorities with the dividends that we have received.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Chris Bishop.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How have retail electricity prices tracked given the greater commercial pressures on the Gen Taylors?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, this is very interesting actually, because a lot of people assume that means prices must have gone up, but actually prices have been remarkably flat at this moment. According to the quarterly survey of domestic electricity prices, the retail price per kilowatt hour has increased by less than 1 cent over the last 3 years and by only 25% over the last 8 years. That compares to prices hiking 65% under the previous government. New Zealand families are better off due to stable electricity prices, as well as receiving those improved dividends through the government's direct investments.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Bishop.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How has electricity supply and demand responded to New Zealand's strongly growing economy?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
I'd listen carefully if I were you, Mr Hipkins. You're learning something. New Zealand's economy has experienced, Mr Speaker, 15 quarters of consecutive growth and is one of the fastest growing economies in the OECD. Despite this, New Zealand is actually consuming less electricity than it was 10 years ago. This is a testament to the innovation of New Zealanders and a focus on greater energy efficiency. In addition, the share of renewables is also climbing. In 2006, 2/3 of our power was renewable electricity. Last year, that was 85%.
That's fantastic.
Now, it has to be said this progress would be put at risk if policy decision makers were to change direction and introduce policies to disregard the market, as was advocated in the last election.
Love those fossil fuels over there.
Yeah.
Order. Question number 4, Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.